let's dive right in. We're going to talk about two little words that get mixed up all the time in the marketing world: server-side tagging and server-side tracking. Now you might think, hey, what's the big deal? Well, getting them wrong can actually cost you a ton in wasted ad spend and land you in some serious compliance trouble. The difference seems small, but trust me, the consequences are huge. So let's get this sorted out.
You've heard this, right? I bet you have. Maybe you've even said it yourself after, firing up a new Google Tag Manager server container. And it feels good. It feels like you finally solved the puzzle of browser data loss.
But here's the thing, you probably didn't. And that's not a criticism, it's just a really, really important distinction we need to unpack. Because in almost every case, what you've actually done is implemented server-side tagging, and knowing why that's not the same as true server-side tracking is absolutely fundamental to building a data strategy that actually works.
Look, this isn't just about being a stickler for words. This is a real, expensive problem. When we confuse these terms, we end up building the wrong systems, we get this false sense of security about our data accuracy, and we can even open up some pretty scary privacy compliance gaps without even knowing it.
Okay, so let's tackle the first one, server-side tagging. The absolute best way to think about this is that tagging is the how. It's all about the method you're using to get your marketing tags to fire. So what does that mean in practice? Well, instead of having, a dozen different scripts from Google, Meta, TikTok, all firing wildly from a user's browser, you send just one single stream of data to a server that you control. Then, from your server, you decide what data gets sent out to all those different platforms. You're the middleman.
This is the perfect analogy for it. Your server becomes this central mail sorting facility. All the data, all of the letters, if you will, they still come from the user's browser. But instead of going everywhere at once, they all come to your facility first. And there, you get to sort them, maybe add some extra information, and then send them off to their final destinations. It's all about control.
Now take a look at step number 1 here. This is the key. A script still fires in the user's browser. The whole process is still kicked off from the client side. This is the part everyone forgets. Server-side tagging is a massive improvement, for sure, but it does not get rid of your dependency on the browser.
So let's flip the coin and talk about server-side tracking. If tagging was the how, well, tracking is the what. This isn't just a different method. It's a completely different approach to how you collect data in the first place.
With true server-side tracking, the browser is basically out of the picture. We don't care about it. The data flows directly from your server to another company's server, usually through something like an API call. There's no JavaScript for an ad blocker to sniff out, no client-side script that could fail to load. It's a clean, secure, server-to-server conversation.
To make this super clear, just imagine a customer buys something on your site. With server-side tracking, the moment your back-end system processes that payment, it sends the conversion event directly to Meta's API. What happens on the thank you page in the user's browser, it doesn't matter anymore for capturing that crucial conversion.
Okay, so we've got the definitions down. Now let's really make this stick by putting them right next to each other. This is where it all should click. Just look at this breakdown. The big one, the one that changes everything, is browser dependency. Tagging says yes, tracking says no. And because of that one difference, look at what happens next. Implementation for tagging is usually a marketing-led project that takes a few weeks, but true tracking, that's a heavy-duty, engineering-led project that can take months. And the payoff? Look at data accuracy. Tagging is better than what you had before, absolutely, but true server-side tracking is as close to perfect as you can possibly get.
So if you walk away with just one thing, let it be this. Server-side tagging is the how, it's the plumbing, the mechanism you use. Server-side tracking is the what. It's the fundamental choice you make about your entire data collection approach.
So we've hammered home the difference. But now for the real question. Why does it matter so much? Why should you actually care? Because, believe me, getting this wrong has a very real impact on your business.
So yeah, how can one little word choice mess up an entire data strategy? Well, let's look at 3 areas where things can go wrong fast.
This number right here says it all. Even with server-side tagging, if an ad blocker stops that very first script from firing in the browser, the one that sends data to your server, you still lose everything. Game over. On some sites, that loss can be as high as 40%. True server-side tracking, though, it's completely invisible to ad blockers. There's literally nothing for them to block because the entire thing happens on the back end.
So when we confuse these terms, we create these huge blind spots. On the architecture side, you might stop halfway, thinking you're done when you're not. On accuracy, you're walking around with this false confidence, thinking your data is invincible when it's still totally exposed. And then there's the most dangerous one, compliance. A lot of folks think, hey, it's on my server, so I don't need consent. That is absolutely 100% false. It's a massive mistake, and it could get you into a world of legal trouble. You always have to get and respect user consent.
Okay, so now that we're crystal clear on what these terms mean and why it matters so much, let's talk strategy. How do you figure out what's the right move for your business right now? For most companies, honestly, server-side tagging is the perfect place to start. It gives you some quick wins, like better data quality and that central control we talked about. It's usually a project that marketing can own with a bit of tech help, and it's just a fantastic first step into this whole server-side world.
But if your business lives and dies by high-value conversions, we're talking big e-commerce sales, crucial B2B leads, and you've got the engineering firepower to do it, then you really need to be investing in true server-side tracking. This is how you build a rock-solid, future-proof system that isn't at the mercy of whatever browsers decide to do next.
And this is where the really smart, mature organizations end up. They realize it's not an either-or choice. They use both. They use server-side tagging for most of their day-to-day analytics and marketing stuff, but they implement full-on, bulletproof server-side tracking for those absolutely critical, money-making conversion events. It's truly the best of both worlds.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Your current data architecture, is it built on a clear, deliberate strategy, or is it maybe built on a flawed assumption? Because the answer to that really determines whether your data foundation is built on solid rock or on shifting sand.